We are so back, Star Wars fans. Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, not those ones, these ones are getting a remastered collection coming on the 14th of March. The project is being taken up by Aspyr. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Aspyr, they have done the Jedi Outcast games and ported those over to the Switch and newer consoles. And it's to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Star Wars Battlefront series that released on the original Xbox and also on the PlayStation. So I'm going to rattle through all the details, give you the things that you need to know. Because we cover Star Wars games on the channel quite frequently, this is the best news that I could receive, and I'm so excited to see Star Wars Battlefront, especially these two iconic games, get remastered and brought into the modern day. Now, there is going to be some caveats, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. So, let's talk about the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. The biggest misconception to take away from this at the beginning is that the game is coming to all platforms. So, it's coming to the Xbox One, Xbox Series X titles, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Switch, and PC. The reason why I say this is because the main blog that was produced about the game was on the PlayStation blog, which had a lot of the details, but they didn't obviously mention that it's coming to all of the other platforms. I'm particularly excited because as a Steam Deck owner, having this Steam Deck verified means I'm going to be able to play it on the go whenever I feel like, which is one of the best things. I loved this game back in the day. I loved Star Wars Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2. They literally made up a lot of my multiplayer gaming as an offline mode especially, which is important to note here. So let's talk about the game's details and rattle off like what's actually changing within the game, because not a lot is, but there's a few surprises. The easiest thing to get out of the way is the fact that we are going to be getting an updated visuals for the game, which means the textures are going to be updated and the resolution as well. Now, it will look identical to the original release, so you won't have to worry about it changing too much, but it's not like a full remake. It's essentially remastering things and bringing it into at least decent quality. Hopefully it's 4K and the frame rate's pretty damn good, and I'll be excited to be able to see it at least running on whatever systems, especially if it's running on the Switch. It's going to look pretty decent as well. The core element to this is that you can both play it online and offline, the entirety of the collection, which is so key for a game like this because its single player content is actually some of the best in terms of Star Wars Battlefront content that we've had, and they did it right. The 501st running through that campaign was such an iconic thing in my childhood, and I played through it many times, and I'm definitely going to relive it again because it is awesome. And if there's co-op as well, definitely I'll be jumping into that. So you can expect to see the classic single player campaigns, as long as all of the different iconic battles from the other game, like movies basically, that were in the games. Return of Galactic Conquest, which was amazing. It was one of the best modes within the game that I used to play for hours. There's also an XL mode that's coming to the PlayStation. I don't know whether that's coming to the other platforms as well. Remains to be seen. But the main campaign will be from Battlefront 2, where you take on the 501st Legion following the rise of Darth Vader, or with Anakin Skywalker. This is the crazy part. That's not all, because they're going to be giving us all of the maps from the previous games that were obviously included. So there's 17 classic maps in Battlefront, and in Battlefront 2 there's 22 ground maps, 6 space maps, and an additional 9 more space maps exclusive to the single player campaign and the Galactic Conquest maps, and also a couple of new maps that we're going to be getting, which is Jabba's Palace on Battlefront, and in Battlefront 2 Bespin Cloud City, Renvor Harbor, Renvor Citadel, and the Yavin 4 Arena. And on top of that, and also getting ourselves hold of 2 bonus heroes, which is a Sarge Ventress and Kit Fisto. So lots of content, lots of maps. The crown jewel of all of this is that we're going to be getting 64 online multiplayer, which is so key for a game like this because the original servers have had some things up for a while. People have ran like modded servers to be able to get people to keep playing the game. And having that support now means that we're going to be getting Conquest, Capture the Flag, Hunt, Assault in Space, and also Hero Assault. The only downside to all of this is kind of an upside, is there is cross-gen multiplayer support. So if you're playing on PlayStation 4 and also PlayStation 5, then you're going to be able to play. And also there's going to be Xbox One and Xbox Series X. The only problem is that there's no cross-platform play. If there was, it would be amazing to have Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC all playing. So yeah, it depends. I think this will get a lot of people playing on Steam, and I'm hopeful that the number count stays up and people will really enjoy this, because we've not really had any updates to any of the other Star Wars games in terms of multiplayer games for a very, very long time, and this is perfect. I think a lot of people will be itching to jump back into some classic maps, some classic modes, and I, for one, am so excited. A couple of extra details. There's offline 2-player split screen as well, so you can do couch co-op if you want to play together with a friend. So if you want to match up on the Switch, that's going to be pretty cool. Put it in the docked mode. There's also going to be trophies included, so achievements as well on all the different platforms. And then also, it's obviously 20 years since the original launch of the game, and this thing came out of nowhere. I was not expecting to see this remastered or remade at any point. I was expecting that we'd get like another multiplayer game way down the line, but this is like perfect right now for Lucasfilm being able to bring out another big Star Wars multiplayer game like we had with Star Wars Battlefront 2, which didn't exactly go to plan for everybody involved. The price point is fantastic, sitting at around £30 on all the different platforms. On Steam right now, you can get it at a discounted price all the way up until the 13th of March, the day before, and get it at £23, which is a really good deal, I think, for what you're getting for all of the games, the extra content, the upscaled resolutions. I think £30 is not a bad deal, and you never know, it might go on sale in like a month's time or so, and you can get this for like 15 quid, which would be incredible, especially for people that want to jump in and maybe have not experienced these games before. On a personal note, I'm so excited for this because I'm going to be able to play it on the Steam Deck, which means I can play through all of that additional single-player content. Being able to play offline is such a key thing that I think a lot of developers miss nowadays, because a lot of people don't always have good internet connections or necessarily have co-op partners, and just being able to go up against some bots in a multiplayer game like this is what I did way back on the PlayStation 2. I didn't have the internet on the PlayStation 2, which is where I played this, especially with Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. These were like my childhood games. And I think with the space battles, with the amount of maps, the iconic movie battles, all of the heroes that you can play as, there's just so much here that you can enjoy. And I really think people should be checking this out. Especially if you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to want to pick this up, especially because it's just an iconic game, man. I can't talk about it. Especially if you're a new Star Wars fan and you've never experienced this, go and play this game. Go and play them. Like, the campaigns are worth the price of admission for me personally, but maybe I'm just a little bit biased. So Star Wars fans, let me know down in the comment section, are you going to be picking up the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection? Are you going to be jumping in for the first time? Are you living nostalgia right now and really excited like I am? I'd love to know and have a discussion down in the comments. And as always, if this video has been helpful or enjoyable, please leave a like on it, subscribe if you are new, and this has been Jimbo. I'll see you guys next time.